Coaches going everywhere. What on earth is happening to college football? Lane Kiffin departs Ole Miss, and now he is the head coach of the LSU Tigers. Who couldn't see this coming from a mile away? We knew it was either going to be LSU or Florida. LSU looked like a much more appealing job. Now Florida has their guy. Look, I'm going to tell you why this is happening, and don't blame the coaches because it's not about the coaches just wanting to chase the money. The coaches want to win, but there's a big part of college football that changed that has now enticed coaches to go ahead and take these type of jobs. For instance, Lane Kiffin builds something at Ole Miss. And a few years ago, you build something, you bring in some talented freshmen, you develop your talent, you get the second string that's freshmen and sophomores, and you know what you're going to have as juniors and seniors. And sometimes you don't want to leave that because you know you've got a couple of years of really good success that's ahead of you. And so coaches were less enticed to leave where they currently were. It was like, why would I leave? I've got something building here. If I go there, I'm going to end up having to inherit their freshmen and sophomores, which aren't as good as my freshmen and sophomores. And it's going to take me 3, 4 years to bring in freshmen, develop them, and have them ready to play and to win. Do I want to go backwards for 2 or 3 years when I've built something here based on my recruiting over the last 3 or 4 years? Well, that's all thrown out the window now. And so now coaches look at a job and they think, yeah, I can recruit there. I've got money to go out and get players. I can win the battles of the transfer portal. I can bring a bunch of my top players with me. The freedom for the players to be able to transfer on a whim and go wherever they want has made it the same for college coaches. That's why it's so easy for college coaches to look at a job and say, you know what, that's where I'd like to be, because they have no fear of taking a step backwards. It doesn't matter how bad the program is or how bad the recruiting has been over the last 2, 3 years, because you can step in, bring your players with you, go win some battles in the transfer portal, and you could have a national championship team in 1 year if you go to the right place at the right time. And when I say the right time, a lot of that depends on money and what kind of money is available in the NIL, what type of returnees you have, how many players you're going to have to build to be able to create a national championship type culture and talent base. But it's there. And it's there because it's so easy for players to just up and move along when the coach is moving. And so you're going to find Lane Kiffin bringing some of his top players from Mississippi. You're going to find Lane Kiffin going out and snagging some people, perhaps even cherry picking players off of rosters like Georgia, Alabama. I mean, who knows? But it's made it very easy for coaches to make the jump because they don't have to worry about the year or two of stepping back to be able to spring forward. And if they have a good talent base where they're at, like if Tulane has a bunch of talented players that could go and play in Florida, hey, more power to them. Take your players with you. But the bottom line is it's made it easy for coaches to make the jump because now players can make the jump. And which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we all know players got the opportunity to have pretty much open transfer. They can go where they want, when they want. They can be out there like a free agent. And so coaches have no fear of losing or taking over a bad roster and having to rebuild from scratch. Those days are done. And so situations like what happened with Lane Kiffin, much more likely. You come along, and if you're a power program, you've got a tradition and a history, you've got a fan base, boosters, and support, and you can convince a prospective coach that this is the place kids are going to want to come if they get into the portal because we're going to pay them, we're going to pay them well, we're going to build a national championship team and a national championship culture with top flight amenities and facilities. Hey, That's what it's about. And so that's why a guy like Lane Kiffin making the jump from Ole Miss to LSU, no big deal. I can go to LSU and I can pick my roster, and those kids will come with me because they've got no recourse. They don't have to sit out a year. And the fact they might be able to come here and make a little more money than they would have on a Mississippi roster. So it's going to happen, folks. Get ready because every year it's going to be the same thing. Top coaches at fairly good schools are going to go to bigger programs at maybe even better schools just because the players will follow suit.